The OPPO Reno12 series is among the top few contenders in today's mid-range smartphone market. Specifically, the Reno12 Pro offers the most out of the range with its very capable cameras, chipset, and of course, a beautiful display. But there's one problem. The Reno12 5G models are now a lot more expensive than its predecessors like the Reno11 series. In fact, the standard Reno12 5G starts at 24,999 pesos, while the Reno12 Pro retails for 34,999 pesos, which is a lot of money. And with that said, some more budget-conscious buyers might not be able to afford these two phones. Thankfully, there's an even more affordable member of the Reno12 family right now, and that's the Reno12 F 5G. It's a lot more affordable than the Reno12 5G by a big amount. Prices for the Reno12 F starts at only 18,999 pesos, making it a lot lighter on your wallet. But of course, the lower price does come with drawbacks. What are those? Well, I'm Jose from YugaTech, and let's find out in this review of the OPPO Reno12 F 5G. Let's start off with the design of the Reno12 F, and we have to talk about the elephant in the room. This phone looks nothing like its Reno12 and Reno12 Pro siblings. If you don't remember what the Reno12 series looks like, well, I have the Reno12 5G right here, and this is what the Reno12 F looks like. They look worlds apart, and if you didn't tell me otherwise, I would believe this one is a different model from the OPPO lineup. In terms of styling though, it is quite minimalist with squarish corners and flat sides. No curved sides right here, and since it doesn't come with a curved display, you also have flat edges, which makes it a lot easier to grip. More on that later. Although a bit of a personal take, I do love the olive green color of this phone. This color isn't too flashy, nor is it very subtle. In fact, it looks the best when you shine it under some white light, so yeah. See? Black to green. Anyway, the back panel is clean and adopts a very minimalist design with only the OPPO logo at the bottom center. At the center of attention is the large circular camera island at the top of the phone. There's also a color-matched bezel to give it a bit of more stylish flair. I also like how OPPO made the camera housing relatively flat, giving the phone a thinner profile. Also, it's not that obvious, but the halo around here does light up, and you can adjust the colors to your liking in the settings. The light blinks when you're charging, starting up a game, taking a call, or even during some notifications. Now, in terms of dimensions, the Reno12 F is far from the thinnest phone out there. It measures 7.69mm thick and weighs 187 grams. But because there are no curved edges, it feels bulkier on your hands. Personal preference, I like this design more since you can grip it a lot more easily. The volume rocker and power button are easily within reach on the right side of the phone. At the bottom, you have the dual SIM card slot, the micro SD slot, the USB port, and one of the loudspeakers. On the left side, it's clean. At the top though, you will find the secondary loudspeaker and the secondary microphone. Overall, I like the colors, and there's nothing bad about the simplistic design of the Reno12 F. The only issue I have is that it looks too different from other members of the Reno12 family, which might cause a lot of confusion for other people. Moving on to the display. While the OPPO Reno12 F may not have the curved display of its siblings, it still packs an OLED panel. The screen measures 6.67 inches with a full HD plus resolution, but with somewhat thick borders all around, especially at the bottom of the phone. However, since this is an OLED, you still get vibrant colors and deep hues. The blacks are also decent, making it great for watching your favorite movies on Netflix or just binge watching stuff on YouTube, like our reviews. The viewing angles are great too, so even your friends can see what's happening on the screen without any issue. Despite this being the most affordable model, OPPO did fit dual stereo speakers. They're decent at best, but they can be loud. You can go up to 300% volume, but I don't recommend it since you sacrifice sound quality in exchange for some loudness. But it's up to you. When you're out and about, it has a maximum peak brightness of 2100 nits, allowing you to see everything on the screen even when it's really bright outside. As you can see, it's just white right now. Paired with a 120Hz refresh rate, you get smooth and buttery animations all around. It's great for games too. Well, if the chipset handled games better, but more on that later. No doubt, it's a great display, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching videos on this phone. Considering how beautiful the display is, this is definitely one of the phone's strong suits. Interestingly, videos on YouTube are limited to just 1440p, so do keep that in mind. In terms of cameras, the OPPO Reno12 F comes with triple rear cameras, similar to its siblings. You get a 50MP main shooter, an 8MP ultra-wide, and a 2MP macro lens. For selfies, you have a 32MP front-facing camera. It also comes with AI, as you can see on the camera island. Given the camera specs it has, at least on paper, I expected this phone to capture images similar to at least the Reno12 5G, right? Well, Fortunately, that's not the case with the Reno12 F. In well conditions, you get sharp images and good contrast. The clarity is also great, but the colors aren't as nice as I expected them to be. They seem to be oversaturated and they don't look that natural. You can edit them using a third-party application, but it seems the AI algorithm overcompensates with the edit. Mind you, these photos were taken without any of the filters or even retouch turned on. And as you can see from here, even the color of Earl looks a bit off in my eyes. I'm sure some of you might find it nice, especially if you want those bright and popping colors, but I personally prefer natural looking images. But the colors aside, the camera is more than adequate, especially when you're shooting in the day, especially for its price point. However, at night or when you're shooting in low light, the drop in quality is very noticeable. Even though the camera does have an AI algorithm to help, the images come out decent at best. The image is no longer as sharp and you do get a lot of grain and noise. Don't even try to use zoom at night. The image quality goes down even further, and as you can see from this image. Fortunately, you do have other AI features to play with to help improve your photos, like AI Eraser that can help clean up the background of people or other disturbing items. In terms of video, the Reno12 F can capture at a maximum of 1080p at 60 FPS. Unfortunately, there is no ultra steady mode to help you stabilize the footage, so you will need a very steady hands to make the most out of it. While it is limited to 1080p, the quality of the videos are more than adequate, especially if you're just going to be using it for IG stories or just capturing memories. And in terms of quality, it's a similar story to capturing images. During the day, you can get some really sharp videos and there's good clarity too. Again, the colors are a bit too saturated and sometimes they just don't look natural. At night or in low light though, the video quality drops by a lot and you can tell from all the noise and grain in the footage. You also lose sharpness and clarity, especially if it's very dark outside. It has a hard time focusing too, which makes things a lot more complicated. Moving on to the software side of things, OPPO Reno12 F runs on ColorOS 14, which is based on Android 14. There's nothing much to stand out about it. Well, aside from, it's pretty much the same OS installed in other OPPO devices that you've probably gotten used to. You get the usual smart sidebar, floating window, split view, and the like. It's simple, which I like since there aren't too many complicated functions to deal with. And you do have Beacon Link, which works like a walkie-talkie, but only works with other OPPO devices. These are perfect for times when you don't have signal. But just like most OPPO devices, what I don't like is the ton of bloatware that comes pre-installed with the phone. You have to deal with 3 separate game folders that you will end up deleting in order to free up space. On top of the game folders, there are other pre-installed apps that I do find useful like Facebook, Netflix, and Shopee and Lazada, but that's pretty much it. Still, I do wish brands would pull back on the bloatware when it comes to releasing new phones. Like, do you really want a lot of bloatware on a brand new device? Like apps that you're not gonna use, especially when it's brand new? Just food for thought. Under the hood, the OPPO Reno12 F runs a MediaTek Dimensity 6300 chipset with a Mali G57 GPU. Our review unit comes with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. RAM can be virtually expanded by up to 8GB for a total of 16GB. And for storage, you can expand it further via a micro SD card slot. In terms of performance, you can easily handle your everyday apps without any issues. Even though I left several apps running in the background, YouTube didn't lag, nor did I experience any frame rate drops while watching some content. The same can be said for other apps I was using like Chrome to browse the net. However, if you plan to game on this phone, well, that's a different topic altogether. I mainly played Blue Archive on this phone and that is a relatively light game to run. Still, I was experiencing a lot of frame rate drops during the battles, and especially when the animation screen pops up. Even though there wasn't a lot happening on screen, you do get the occasional frame rate drops. For reference though, the graphic settings were set to max and the phone was set to Pro Gamer mode. Try out more graphic intensive titles, I decided to run Genshin Impact, but given the experience I had with Blue Archive, my expectations weren't high. While it did run the game, I did have to set the graphics to low in order to have a more enjoyable and steady gaming experience. With the graphics toned down, I did have a good experience playing Genshin. Still, you will experience the occasional slowing down and FPS drop, especially when you're using skills, battling a lot of enemies, or just exploring new areas of the map. So it's not the best for gaming, but what I did like about this phone is that it didn't heat up at all. Whether I was playing Blue Archive or Genshin, the temperature of the phone was steady. It didn't even feel any warmer than it normally does. And of course, for our viewers who like to see the numbers, we've also run our usual benchmark scores, which you can check out right now. In terms of battery, the OPPO Reno12 F packs a standard 5000 mAh battery pack. It's the usual battery pack you'd find in any smartphone today. And as we always say, battery life is always dependent on the user, specifically the user's habit of using a phone. Surprisingly though, the battery of the Reno12 F lasts a very long time, and it shows in the benchmark. Using PCMark's Work 3.0 battery test, we were able to achieve a result of 16 hours and 38 minutes, which is very impressive for a 5000 mAh battery phone. For reference, the test was done on 50% brightness, 0 volume, and on airplane mode. For gamers, I played Blue Archive for an hour starting at 100% battery, and afterwards, I still had 87% battery left, which is a great result. So even if you are going to be playing games on this phone, you will still have enough battery for the rest of the day when you need it. When you do need to recharge though, you have 45-watt fast charging speeds. And in terms of connectivity, you get the usual suite, which includes 5G, dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.3, NFC, and GPS. For the price of 18,999 pesos, you definitely get what you pay for on the OPPO Reno12 F. It has a decent set of cameras, a very long battery life, a great display, and of course, a beautiful design. But seeing what the Reno12 5G and the Reno12 Pro 5G are capable of, I can't help but find this phone a bit lacking. Sure, you save money with the Reno12 F, but is the downgrade in hardware worth it? Personally, I don't think so. The chipset isn't the most powerful, and the cameras are only great in the day or in well-lit conditions. Sure, you have a beautiful display and a long battery, but that's pretty much it. More importantly, at this price point, there are a lot of options available to choose from, not just the Reno12 F. But still, it's a decent phone if you mainly want to use something with a nice display, long battery life, and a decent camera. But again, who am I to stop you if you really want this phone, right? I mean, just look at it. I can't blame you. But still, what do you think of the OPPO Reno12 F 5G? Is it the one you would go for out of the Reno12 family? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, of course, please do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And of course, visit YugaTech.com to stay updated with the latest tech news and reviews. Also, if you want to check out our full review of the standard Reno12 5G and the Reno12 Pro 5G, you can check them out on our YouTube channel and, of course, the YugaTech website. Once again, this has been Jose. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.